Now, let's continue our discussion for semifinals, which is dilution. So I've already give you the soft copy of the lesson. So I assume that you've already read and you've already figured out how to calculate dilution. But for further explanation and for further discussion, I will be giving you a pre-recorded video for this lesson. So without further ado, let's now start the dilution. So in starting the lesson, we always know that it always start with the question, what is dilution? Or can we define the word dilution? So dilution is the process of decreasing the concentration of a solute in a solution. It is usually simply by mixing with more solvent. So meaning to say, in the statement below, dilution is the process when there is a solution or there is a solution that is concentrated. So meaning to say, to lessen the concentration of that solution, we will be having a process which is called dilution. Okay? To dilute a solution means to add more solvent without the addition of more solute. So even in this process, even though that we will be having it in a laboratory, we will be using also calculation here. Kasi the more you add the solution, the consistency or the measurement of the solution itself magbabago, will change. So that's why there is a proper calculations on how can we get the result of a dilute solution. Okay, so today I will be giving you the formula, the constant formula on how can we get the result of a dilute solution. Okay? So the resulting solution is thoroughly mixed so as to ensure that all parts of the solution are identical. So, yun na nga, the more, when you add when you add the solvent in a solute, dapat it the same measurement with the solute itself. Dapat it should be balanced. So, the measurement of the solute is the same with the measurement of the solvent. If you add a solvent, dapat you have to add also a solute because it should be balanced. Okay? Dilution process, even though you will be lessen the concentrated of a certain solution, you have to balance the both solute and solvent in a certain solution. Okay? Balancing pa rin po ito. Okay. So, now, as you can see in the illustration given in my PowerPoint, it is on how can you visualize the process dilution. As you can see, there are two beaker or there are two container here. The first container will be having a concentrated solution, and the second container is having a diluted solution. So meaning to say, in a dilution process, we will be the concentrated solution will decrease so that it can have a result which is the diluted solution. As I've said a while ago, the concentration solution will be lessened kapag may dilution process na tayo. Okay? So a dilution as the statement below, a dilution is the process of adding solvent to a concentrated solution to create a new solution with less concentration. Yan na nga sinasabi ko. There is a new solution but lesser na po yung concentration. Kasi why? You will be adding a solvent. Okay? But if you add, it will be on the same or on balance pa rin yung measurement. Okay? Always remember that one. Now, let's look forward that the both solute and the solvent will be identical or balance pa rin po ang measurement. So, let's go now on the concept of dilution. One concept of dilution is law of conservation of mass. And law of conservation of mass is what I'm saying a while ago, that if the mass of the products is equals, always pala, the mass of the products are equals to the mass of the reactants. Yun yung sinasabi ko na kung ano yung mass ni solvent, yun din po ang mass ni solute. Okay? It should be balanced. Okay? So this law of conservation of mass is a concept of a dilution process. Oftentimes, we have to prepare a solution of a desired concentration by diluting a more concentrated solution. Adding more solvent increases the volume of the solution but decreases the concentration of the solute. So the total number of moles of solute will not change. Okay, always remember that. Take note with this statement, even though you will add solvent in the solution, hindi po mag-iiba ang number of moles ni solute. Hindi po siya magkukulang, hindi po siya madadagdagan. Okay, it will still the same. Okay, will not change even though the concentration lang, yung concentration lang po ang madi-decrease ni solute, but the number of moles hindi po, will not change. Take note with that. Okay? So, in law of conservation of mass, of course, calculation are presented. So, the formula are here. From the formula M, which is, as we all know, the number of moles liter of solution. Number of moles is equals to molarity times volume, using the concept of conservation of mass during dilution. The number of moles in solution 1, the number of moles in solution 2. Whereas, so meaning to say the constant formula for using the process dilution in the concept of law of conservation of mass is that M1 multiplied by V1 equals to M2 multiplied by V2. But it depends upon on the problem if ano yung unknown. Okay, kasi here in the formula, what if the molarity 2 is the unknown? What if the volume 2 is unknown? So I show an example of the different formula kapag ang unknown si M1, kapag ang unknown si V1, kapag ang unknown si molarity 2, or kapag ang unknown si volume 2. Okay, to explain more in the formula, M1 is multiplied to V1 equals to M2 multiplied to V2, where M1 is the molarity or the original or more concentrated solution. Take note si molarity 1 po ang original or ang concentrated solution, while the volume 1 would be the volume of the original solution, while the M2 will be the molarity of final solution, while the volume 2 will be the volume of final solution. Okay? So let's go back to the to always rule of calculation. Once if there is the same unit of a substance or of the product, you have to cancel it, diba? Always remember that one, that if the both numbers are the same in units, you have to cancel so that we can get the unit of the result. Okay? So let's proceed. Let's solve na. Let's solve. I already I have here a different examples or a different problem for you to figure out how to solve the molarity 1, the volume 1, or the molarity 2, and volume 2. So let's proceed now. So first question, how do we prepare 1/2 liter of 1M hydrochloric from 5M solution of the acid? So the given would be M1, V1, M2, V2. So the formula would be, so all of the formula is given. Diba? Lahat meron. Okay. Lahat except for V1. Sorry pala. Merong unknown, we have V1. So the formula would be M1, V1, M2, V2. Okay. So for the given here, volume 1 is unknown. So let's represent it as in X. Okay, wala ito. Typo error. Sorry for the given. Given is only M1, M2, and V2. So let's now go on the formula. The constant formula would be M1, V1, and M2, V2. So let X, so as I've said, let X will be represented as an unknown. So since our unknown will be the volume of original solution. So let's go now to explain the concept. So by here, with the original, here the M1 multiplied by V1, the original formula. So the M1 would be the 5 moles over liter, and let X as an unknown or yung walang hindi given, which is the volume 1, and equals to M2, which is 1 kasi 1M, which is given, 1 moles over liter times 500 M. Where does we get this 500 M? Ito po yung 1/2 liter. Ilan ang 1/2 ng liter? Diba 500? Okay. So Now, since we've already settled the given here, let's go now on the formula. Since the unknown would be the volume 1, the formula would be volume 1 is equals to M2 multiply by V2 over M1. Okay? So, let X again, let's explain. Let X as a V1 is equals to 1 mole since 1 here is the molarity 2, multiply by 500 ml. So 1 times 500 is equals to 500 divide into 5 moles per liter, which is equals to 100 ml. And why it is 100 ml? Because let's cancel the same unit, moles per liter, moles per liter. So the only unit that is naiwan is ml, and since volume 1 ang hinahanap, so volume 1 X would be volume 1 would be 100 ml. So that would be the answer. Diba? It's very, very simple. It's up to the question if ano yung hinahanap, what will be the unknown. So always remember that one. Don't worry kasi on the problem or on the example that I will be given to you, merong kanya-kanyang formula. If the molarity 2 or the volume 2 is unknown, if the molarity 1 is unknown, or even the volume 1. Ito ang formula ng volume 1 because volume 1 here is the unknown. Okay? So let's proceed. So let's proceed to the interpretation. Interpretation is up on how the calculation will be done, or the resulting of the calculation. So to prepare the solution, measure out 100 ml of 5M hydrochloric acid. Dissolve this in sufficient water to make 500 ml of 1M hydrochloric acid. Okay, so that would be the interpretation of the first example. So let's proceed to the problem 1. Okay, so try pa pala yung first one. This would be the problem 1 or the first example. So for the first example, we have if you dilute 175 ml of 1.6 m solution of lithium chloride to a 1.0 L, determine the new concentration of the solution. So let's say for the formula, for the constant formula, we have M1 V1 equals to M2 V2. So the given will be the M1, 1.6 mole per liter. Given also is the volume 1, 175 ml, equals the unknown here is the molarity 2 or the final solution. Multiply by the volume 2 which is given, which is 1000 ml. So since the unknown would be molarity 2, so let's have the formula for molarity 2 is equals to M1 multiplied by volume 1 over volume 2. So let's start with multiplying the molarity 1 and volume 1. So 1.6 mole per liter times or multiply by 175 ml is equals to 280. So since we've already done multiplying the M1 times volume 1, let's divide it now on with the volume 2, which is 1000 ml. So 280 divided by 1000 ml is equals to 0.228 molarity. So meaning to say, the final solution or the final molarity solution would be 0.28 m. Kasi we're looking for the molarity of final solution or the M2. Okay, did you get the point? So if you have a question and clarification, you can leave that in our GC. Okay, so let's proceed to the problem number 2. For the problem number 2, you need to make 10.0 liter of 1.2 m potassium nitrate. What molarity would the potassium nitrate solution need to be if you were to use only 2.5 liter of it? So the solution, let's go back to the constant formula, which is M1 V1 is equals to M2 V2. So the unknown here would be the molarity of the solution. Okay, the molarity of the concentrated solution, whereas it is for molarity 1. So let X represented by molarity 1. So X multiply or with the volume 1 which is given 2.5 liter equals to 1.2 mole per liter, which is the molarity 2 or the final solution, multiply by V2 which is given also 10.0 liter. So since the molarity of the concentrated solution is the unknown, so let's use the formula M1 is equals to M2 multiplied by V2 over V1. So now, let's multiply first the molarity 2 times volume 2. So the molarity 2, the given for molarity 2 is 1.2 mole per liter multiplied by 10.0 liter, which is the given for volume 2. So the answer would be 12 divide, let's divide it to volume 1, which is given, which is 2.5 liter. So 12 divided 2.5 is equals to 4.8. So the molarity of concentrated solution is 4.8 m. 4.8 m because molarity 1 is the unknown. So molarity 1 is equals to 4.8 m. So it's very, very simple. Let's always depend on the unknown in the problem, ha? Kapag madali lang siya if you know the unknown. So here, makikita natin that the unknown would be the concentrated, okay? The concentrated solution, which is the M1. So let's proceed to another question. So 75 ml of a 1.6 m aqueous solution of lithium chloride is diluted with water to final volume of 1.0 liter. What is the final concentration of the diluted solution? So here, the final solution is the unknown. It's very obvious because there is nandito siya sa question, okay? So let's go back to the original formula or the constant formula. We have M1 V1 equals to M2 V2. So the M1 would be 1.6 m and the M2 would be V1 would be 100. I think it's already, yes. Okay, sorry. It's already been taken. It's already been discussed here. Oh, no. It's okay. So it's quite the same for the question. So I will be discussing na lang this one, but the same result with the first problem. Okay. So let's continue. 175 ml. So equals M2 or the given, the X here, the unknown will be the molarity 2. So multiply by 1000 ml. So since the molarity 2 is the unknown, let's use the formula M2 equals to M1 times V1 over V2. So the same with the problem 1, I think, yes, it is the same. The same lang po siya. So I will be saying na lang din. So let's multiply first the M1 times V1. So the M1 would be 1.6 m multiplied by 175 ml. So the result would be 280. Then let's divide it into volume 2, which is 1000 ml. So the answer, the M2 here is 0.28 m. Okay, so it's the same with the problem 1. I just elaborate it na lang. Okay? So for now, for me to assess if you get the point of the calculation, let's try this. So I want you to put this in your yellow paper, then picture it, then send it to me, direct message me for your quiz for today. Okay, try this. If you have 300 ml of 1.5 m of sodium chloride, how many ml of 0.25 m of sodium chloride can you make? So here it's very what they call this, obvious what is the unknown. And for number 2, what volume of 5 m NaOH is needed to create a 100 ml solution of 1 m of NaOH? So it's very obvious again what is unknown in this question. So I will be waiting until 12 midnight for your quiz for today. So thank you very much for your, if you watch, thank you very much for watching the video. So I hope that you've understand the explanation about the calculations. And if you have questions, you can ask me directly in Messenger on ma'am. I'm very confused with this certain question, with this certain problem. So you can ask me directly. So thank you very much. and have a nice day. And yes, have a nice day and see you when I see you. Okay, thank you very much and bye.